It's wonderful.
Sorry,
Wonderful to be here with everyone. Sairam. I wanted to start with a prayer, and I wanted to say, Dear Sai Baba, I humbly pray that you will help to give the right words and the thoughts for this talk. Thank you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So I had prompting from Sai Baba to speak, and then he came to me in a dream, and he said it would be joyful for me to share about my experiences with him. So I think loving God is very joyful, and every day I tell Sai Baba I love him with all my heart and mind and might and soul, and I invite him to come and sit in my heart. And usually he says yes. So it's pretty wonderful. I imagine him as a golden sun in my heart. I did want to say that I do think of Sai Baba as the universal avatar, and that recently I was shown in a vision that Sai Baba was all through the universe and that he had stars for eyes. So my heart just overflows with love and gratitude. I've been blessed to have lots of experiences with Sai Baba, so I'm happy and grateful to share about him. I haven't gone to the ashram, but I still believe that I've had darshan. And so I want to talk about how I came to Sai Baba. It took a few years. I had an unusual life with lots of mystical and spiritual experiences. And when I was a teenager, I had out-of-body experiences. And I was just like above my body. I was floating. I didn't know how to get back in my body. And I was scared because I was just in dark space. And so I would like focus every effort of my will to try to get back into my body. When I was 18 years old, I decided to go and live in an ashram in the Boston area. And we had live-in Indian guru. We had bhajans and satsang morning and evening. We did yoga. I really believed in reincarnation, and I really benefited a lot from learning how to meditate. But after I was there for a few years, I believe it turned into a cult. So I escaped. And eventually I went back to upstate New York, where I had a friend who knew about Sai Baba. And he told me that Sai Baba could do an apport. I'm not sure I'm using that exactly correctly in the sentence, but it means he can bring an object from distance, to him. And so I was interested in that because I wasn't familiar with that word. And he said to me that we went to the Sai Center in Syracuse, but I have no memory of going there. So I moved to Virginia to continue my education. At Old Dominion University, I was studying fine arts. And he sent me the book, Sai Baba, Man of Miracles, and I didn't read it because it had a guru with an orange robe on the cover. And I wasn't wanting to have any more of that experience at that time because I felt like I had been really beaten down in the ashram, and I wanted to develop a healthy sense of myself and to get my education and to sort of have a healthy ego. And so I went ahead and got my BFA from ODU, and then I went to Cornell and got my master's. And then fast forward to 1999, I was working in San Diego. I had a good manager, and she gave me a book about Joshua. She gave me a book written by Joshua David Stone. And that book had a chapter in it about Sai Baba. And when I read that chapter, I was really impressed with the miracles. And one of the miracles was he had done an apport, that he had taken, if I remember correctly, that he had taken a gun from a devotee, and so the devotee wouldn't kill himself. And then later, when the devotee was in Prasanti Nilayam, Sai Baba showed him he had the gun. So I just was in awe, and I couldn't sleep the whole night after having read that chapter. And so what happened was, I'd been studying with a woman who was a spiritual teacher for a number of years, and she just decided to drop me, and she wasn't returning my phone calls. And then there was a friend of mine who also studied with that teacher, and she did what was I considered a betrayal in our friendship. And so, and also I was going through a breakup. So I asked Sai Baba for help because I didn't know what else to do. I felt really alone. And the funny and the delightful thing was that Sai Baba did help me, and he put me in bliss. So here I was going through this betrayal, and this, I had trusted this woman so much, who was my spiritual teacher. And I was just totally happy and in bliss. And the bliss lasted for like, a few days. And so that was a really great experience that I had with Sai Baba. And he also came to me in a dream in December of 1999. And in that dream, he said, it's all about living in a higher level of reality. And he was in a chariot. And he also said to me that he wasn't God, but I knew at that point that he was. I never had really understood why he said to me that he wasn't God, except maybe it was so that I would remember the point in my life in which I really believed that he was God. Mm-hmm. And so it was a beautiful dream. And I was so happy that he came to me in a dream. So then I did read all of Howard Murphy's books, and I got a lot out of those books, and it was really wonderful. And I was excited about Sai Baba, and I was talked to people about Sai Baba, and it was just the most amazing, miraculous, wonderful event of my entire life that Sai Baba came into my life. And I just consider it to be the most important thing that Sai Baba's been here and given us all these wonderful teachings, and has wants to care for us. And so I tried again to become a vegetarian, because I'd been a vegetarian before, and I was having a little bit of trouble becoming a vegetarian again. And then I read a story about Mahatma Gandhi, and someone told him to eat baby goat meat. And so he did, but he said that later he could feel the bleeding of the baby goat's heart, and he couldn't eat meat after that. And after I read that story, I couldn't eat meat after that either. And so that was a good thing that I became a vegetarian. And so then Sai Baba performed some miracles. I was given a small jar of sand by a friend of mine for a birthday gift. And I never opened it. It's this white sand, which is supposed to be some kind of a special sand. And one day I looked in the sand, and there were all these crystals in it, little stones and crystals. And I said to my friend, did you put something in the sand? And he said, no. So I knew that they were from Sai Baba. So there were 6 stones and crystals in it. And one of them I wear as a necklace all the time. This is one of them. It's a smoky quartz. And the other ones I have in a pouch, and I always usually have the pouch on me. And sometimes when I'm sick, like I'll grab a hold of the pouch or the necklace and I'll say Om Sai Ram, which is my God mantra, and I'll call the Sai Baba to help me, because I believe that they're communication devices, and so it gets the request for healing energy gets to Sai Baba through those crystals.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then I also had a small vibhuti box, a little box that I bought to put the vibhuti in, and then the vibhuti, it started forming on the box in little round shapes. And so these were a couple of miracles that really bonded me to Baba. And so I really do believe in practicing love, truth, right action, peace, and nonviolence. And I really like that quote, that I have come to light the lamp of love in your hearts, to see that it shines day by day with added luster. I have not come on behalf of any exclusive religion. I have not come on a mission of publicity for a sect or creed or cause, nor have I come to collect followers for a doctrine. I just love that. So he would come to me frequently in dreams, and sometimes I would sense his presence, and he would talk to me telepathically. And some of the teachings that he's given them to me directly. He said, that he resides in my heart. And he also said that he's above me, below me, within me, behind me. So in my morning meditation, I do that visualization that Bob is in my heart, and he's below, and he's behind me, and above me, and in front of me, leading the way. And because God is omnipresent and God is love, I feel like we all live in a sea of love. And isn't that a wonderful way to live? So after several years, he came to me in a dream, and he talked to me about Reiki healing. So I was already at a certain level with Reiki. There's 3 levels. And so I went on to become a Reiki master. And then he's given me an additional gift of healing energy. So, and there have been some good results from that. And it really makes me so happy when I can help someone with the healing energy, and when they have a good experience as a result of that. I always say that I'm an instrument for Sai Baba, with, the energy just comes through me. And it can go to someone in a distant state. For example, like what I do usually is I'll do a meditation, and then after the meditation, I can send the healing. And Baba has also helped me a lot with my health. And one time I had a healing on my left arm. I did something to my arm and I couldn't raise it very high, like, maybe that high. And, it hurt when I slept, and I had to change how I closed the car door. And this went on for a while. And at the time I was poor, and I went to the clinic, and they said, you need surgery sooner rather than later, but I couldn't afford it. So at a certain point, Baba had said to me that he wanted me to do worship. So I do a worship every night for about half an hour before I go to bed. And I do some readings. I use vibhuti. I say the vibhuti prayer. And I say prayers of gratitude and prayers that I pray for world peace. And so one night when I was sitting where I had my picture of Baba, and I was doing the evening prayers and meditation, this warm energy came down my arm, and it just instantly healed my arm. And I was instantly able to raise my arm up above my head. And I was really, really grateful to Baba for that, because I didn't know what I was going to do, to get the surgery and that kind of thing. So and I also I would go to the Sai Center in San Diego. And one time during the worship service, Sai Baba started giving me all this love. And the love, it just started like pouring over me. And there was so much love that I couldn't like handle it all. It was just the most love that I'd ever felt. And I had tears just, pouring down my face. And it was almost like I wanted it to stop because it was so much and it was so intense. But I'm really glad I had the experience, because it's the most love that I've ever felt. And I think about it a lot, and I believe Sai Baba loves all of us, in that way, with just so much love. And it's an amazing thing to feel love like that. And then there was another time that I had this vision, and it was about something that had to do with God's will for my life. And after I had the vision, I had this peace that lasted for like a few days. And I realized when I was working on putting this talk together that he actually showed me how to live in a higher level of reality when he gave me this vision and this peace. Because I was so peaceful and my mind was really, really quiet. I had very, very little thought, and it was such a beautiful state to be in. I just loved it, and I was so sorry when it stopped. But I know now, after connecting the dots, about that first dream, that that's really something to strive for, to live really peacefully and to have a peaceful, quiet mind, so that was a really wonderful experience. And so there are times when I do not listen to the guidance that I receive. And this is a big mistake when I do this. And Baba has said to me in the past, how can I protect you if you don't listen to the guidance? And I realized looking back that when I didn't listen to my inner voice, that things just did not work out so well for me. So during the pandemic, I started saying this prayer that I pray for knowledge of God's will for me and the power to carry it out. And I tried to adhere much more closely to what I received through the inner voice. My oldest sister, she passed away on December 16th. And we had this worship, and I was able to talk about it the day that I found out about it. And it was actually really hard for me to deal with at first. And I know Sai Baba's teaching is that detachment is the savior, and that we have to be able to give up like anything in this world at a moment's notice without a murmur. But I wasn't there with that. The first day, it was really hard. I had trouble functioning normally. And but when we had our service, we had the service on January 8th. it was really a beautiful service. I was able to go on Zoom, and she lived in Lansing, Michigan, and she died suddenly and unexpectedly. She had a blood clot to the lung. And I just saw so clearly at that service that love is what is most important in life, which is what Baba is always telling us, start the day with love, fill the day with love, end the day with love. And I was also really fortunate that Baba gave me a vision, and I saw that my sister was with him. And when I saw the vision, he had his arm raised up like this, and my sister was wearing her wedding dress. And so it just gave me a lot of peace in my heart that I know that she's home with God. And my sister had a lot of health problems. And so I was actually really grateful that her suffering had come to an end, that Baba did take her, even though she was only 68 years old. So back in 2010, I was having some difficulties living in San Diego, finding work. So I went to Michigan to regroup because my family lives in Michigan, a lot of my family, and I don't have any family that lives in this area. So I was doing this meditation, and it was a 40-minute meditation. I couldn't break out of it. And in the meditation, I was told to write these certain stories. And they're about these characters that I've written about for a really long time. And so I've written a screenplay, and I've written a second screenplay that's a sequel. And I'll just tell you what the first one's about briefly, just briefly. An alienated 10-year-old genius must find the courage to heal from past trauma when rescuing funny healer aliens from a space-time continuum accident catches the attention of Earth's evil troublemakers. So these movies that I'm writing, these screenplays, they're comedic adventures. They're animated features for kids. And, Baba has a really good sense of humor, I've found out. And the name of the characters, they're called the duck butts. And they're 3 inches short. They look like humans, except for they have these rear ends that are covered with white feathers. And they're really funny. And one of the reasons I really love these characters is that they embody the values that Baba says that we should have in our lives of peace and truth and nonviolence, right action. So I've been, this past year, I've been learning, taking classes, on pitching and marketing and rewriting. And so that's helped me with what I believe is, this mission that I have from Sai Baba to do this writing. And I'm also working on another screenplay, and that's called Rufus and the Renegade Reindeers. And that's a lot of fun too. And I wanted to also share that one time, I'm skipping around a little bit chronologically, that I had an experience of darshan at the Sai Baba Center of San Diego. We were singing the bhajans, and Baba's picture there is, he's sitting on a chair. It's a really big picture, and it just came alive. And he reacted to like everything that I was feeling and thinking. It was just the most amazing experience of being there with him and seeing him like that. So I was very blessed and very happy to have that experience. And there was, when we would sit for a study circle, there was a picture of Baba, And I would look at that picture. It was a really beautiful picture of his face. And I would feel a steady stream of love that was coming from the picture. And it was really a wonderful experience. And one time he took his face off and he revealed that he was a golden ray of light. And so that was a really amazing experience because I really believe that that's who he is. But I know that everyone has their own conception of, who Sai Baba is. But for me, that I imagine him as a golden sun in my heart when I think of him being in my heart. And I also visualize him as a golden sun in other people's hearts as well. So I feel like I have these two jobs that I do. I work during the day as a technical writer. I've been doing that for a really long time. And then I also do my creative writing in the evenings and on the weekends. And Baba has told me that my service work is writing. And so I'm hoping that one of these days, these writing projects will come to fruition. When I ask in the morning how I can be of service to Sai Baba, which I ask every day, usually I only get two answers. One is either write or it's either rest. And this week it was prepare for the talk, which I've been doing. So I did want to say that I have experienced Sai Baba's omniscience, because he let me know that he knew about something that happened to me when I was a teenager that I've never told anybody. It was a really intimate, personal detail, and I'm never going to tell anyone about it, but he let me know that he knew about that. And also, I've experienced his omnipotence. And the way that I experienced that was, I was really, really sick. And I was calling to him for help, holding on to my pouch. And I was so sick, I was weak, I was, losing everything. And I was really scared because the pain was really bad. And it went on for a little while. It started on a walk. I was taking a walk. I got this weird pain in my abdomen. I came back in from the walk, got really sick. And then all of a sudden it just stopped after a little while, and I was perfectly fine. And Baba said to me that he was removing a blockage. And that to me, it was, from my understanding, an experience of his omnipotence. And then recently, when I came out of it was either a meditation or a healing session, because I can use the healing energy for myself as well as for others. I felt his omnipresence. I just had an experience where I felt it, and it was really wonderful because I've had a lot of problems in my life with loneliness. So it's so wonderful to have like Sai Baba as my best friend. He's always available. He's always with me. I can always talk to him all throughout the day. And he said that we can give him our pain and he'll give us bliss in return. And I think that's a really good trade. And so this year, what I wanted to do this year was suffer less and play more. And to that end, I bought 60 multicolored ping pong balls for my cat and I to play with. Because I realized, looking back on my life, that sometimes I suffered, and I suffered needlessly. And a lot of it was because I didn't feel lovable, or I didn't love myself. And so Sai Baba's been teaching me a lot about self-love over the past several years. And I think it's really important. So there's this one quote that I want to read. It's really brief, but I read it every single night. I have for years and years and years. And it's really, it just means so much to me. It says, just as you lean against the wall, knowing that it will not collapse, lean on me and depend on me entirely. I will then look after you. If you depend on me with complete faith and confidence, I shall provide for your welfare and look after all your needs in this world and in the next. And in my mind, I put a circle around the word all your needs in this world. And I can tell you, sometimes Baba even has me go shopping. This week on Monday, I was told I needed to go out to lunch. And so we have a vegetarian grocery store that has a deli here in Ocean Beach in San Diego. And so I was like, okay, good, I'll go there. And I went there, and I was told to look in a certain section of the store. And in that section of the store, I found a sweatshirt, a really warm sweatshirt. And so I knew I was supposed to buy the sweatshirt, and I did, and it's great. Because I work from home now, I just want to wear sweatshirts a lot. And I wanted something really warm, because even though it's in the 60s for us, and the rest of the country is having really cold weather, it still feels really chilly because I've acclimated so much to living in San Diego. And also, I wanted to read another quote. It says, if you have sincere devotion, you will fix the responsibility for your health on God, and He will also accept that responsibility. Your mind will be so full of happiness that your body will be a fit instrument for sadhana. So in my life, it's really important that I get to work, and, because I live alone and have a mortgage. And so I took a job that was pretty far away from home. I had a big commute, and the company had this huge flight of stairs to go up to the second floor, and they didn't have an elevator. And I had trouble with my knees. And the company I worked for before, when I would take the stairs, I didn't want anybody to see me take the stairs because I was so slow, and my knees were really painful. And they were painful at night when I would lie down in the bed. And somehow Baba took the pain away so that I was able to go up the stairs without any trouble. And I'm really grateful for that. And there's a story in Sai Samaran, which is a wonderful book that I read from a lot at night, about the author's mother, where Sai Baba gave her a pendant, and it also took away the pain in her knees. So I'm super grateful for that. During the pandemic, there was this prayer that just rose up in me, and it's a prayer that we all know. And so I just would like to say the prayer. And the prayer was, from the unreal, lead us to the real. From darkness, lead us to light. From death, lead us to immortality. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So do you have any questions? Did I mention that I had a vision of God when I was living in the ashram? Did I talk about that?
No, please share with us.
Okay, so that was the reason I went to the ashram, was I went there because I wanted to have a direct experience of God. I was raised as a Presbyterian, and for some reason I didn't connect very well with God, even though I went to church a lot. And so when I had my vision of God in the ashram, it was that God, it happened during a meditation. It was that God was these amazingly powerful golden rays of light that were streaming from one end of the universe to the other. And when I had the vision, I was just in this ecstatic, this spiritual ecstasy when I was having the vision. So ever since then, I've never doubted the existence of God, because I feel like I have proof, I saw it. And then when he took his face off and showed me he was a golden ray of light, that was sort of a full circle moment there.
That's incredible when we have this revelation, right? Does anyone have a question to Susan? You can say it, unmute yourself, or you can type it in and we will read it. But any practices that you're doing on a daily basis that has to do with Sai Baba, like a specific prayer or specific meditation?
In the morning, I get up and I say the prayer that's recommended, which is I'm born again from the womb of sleep, and I'm determined to carry out all tasks this day as offerings to you, with you ever present in my mind's eye. Please let all my thought, words, and deeds be ever sacred and pure. Let me not harm anyone. Let no one harm me. Please guide and direct me this day. And then that's where I also tell him that I love him with all my heart, mind, and might and soul. And I ask if he'll sit in my heart. And then I say some other prayers that have to do with, what I was saying, that I asked for to live my life as closely as I can in accordance with his will, and to have the power to carry it out. And also I pray to have an excellent sense of humor. Because one thing I discovered when I was working on my screenwriting this year is I love writing funny stuff and I love to laugh. And during the pandemic, I felt like my face wasn't right, because it felt like we were in such a grim situation. I wasn't smiling very much, And so I pray for an excellent sense of humor. And I also pray to be full of self-love, because that's something I've really had to work on. And then have breakfast. I do some grooming on my cat. And then I sit for a really short meditation, which is like a guided visualization, where I do that he's in my heart and above and below, has my back, that kind of thing. And then I go and sign into work. And when I go for my walks, I try to take a couple of walks a day. I live in a community which has a beautiful courtyard. And when I go for my walks, I made up this mantra of my own that I say. And the mantra that I say is peace and love to all. And I just kind of commune with the flowers and the plants, because I had an experience during the pandemic where I went out, I hadn't been out in a while, and I felt the consciousness of the plants. And so sometimes I'm saying Om Sai Ram, and I'm concentrating on the bottoms of my feet when I say it, because I'm using that mantra to ground me on my path. But I'm also sending out love and peace to all. And so I really love doing that. And then I also, after work, I try to sit in meditation, because Baba said that he will come to me and talk to me while I'm meditating. So I really like to try to have a 20-minute meditation, because when I have a 20-minute meditation, then I have a lot more equanimity in my life. And I have to say, I haven't had a whole lot of equanimity this past year. I actually went through something called the dark night of the soul. that had to do with like my sister's death and something else that happened that I'm not really quite ready to talk about, but I did come out of it. And so I really want to be on a more even keel. I really see the value of peace, of equanimity, of realizing it's a game and the goal is God. And aren't we also blessed and fortunate to have Sai Baba in our lives? I think we are. I think it's
Absolutely.
just astonishing.
Yeah, I think your prayer has been answered, and you definitely have a very good sense of humor because you put smiles on our faces.
And then I do that. And then at night, I do the half hour of the evening worship with the reading and the gratitude prayers. I say at least 5 things I'm grateful for. And the first thing I always say that I'm grateful for is Sai Baba. And then I just surrender everything at his feet. I do this visualization where there's a super comfortable chair for Baba to sit in. I mean, it is like so perfect for his form. It's not the least bit ostentatious, but it's very cushy. It's very comfortable. And so I imagine there's this secret golden alcove, and there's the chair. And I asked Sai Baba to come and sit in the chair so that I can put my head at his feet. So I imagine there's this purple pillow for his feet, and that my head's right there at his feet. And I just turn everything over to him. And I say, I turn everything over to you so that we can be in a state of peace and love. And that's how I go to sleep at night.
That's a
So
beautiful way to go.
And
to
sometimes
sleep.
I say, you know, I'm just cuddled up here, me and Baba and the cat.
Yeah.
I'm lucky the cat will come and cuddle up.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you for your sharing. We're
Thank
very
you.
happy to have you. Sai Baba.